if you have anything to announce, please do. But we are very pleased to announce that Reagan Brown was born in the last couple days. Greg and Jill Brown had a beautiful baby girl. So it's another card that we're getting out to them, along with our usual gift for a new baby, a new KW baby, addition to our family. So that's really cool. So if you want to reach out to Greg, please do. Tammy, where are you? We can't hear you, Tammy. At least I can't.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I keep changing my microphone. I have one of these fancy microphones, and yeah. Anyway, I was more excited about my background today.
I like your background. That's cool.
So last week we played Never Have I Ever, and our random drawing winner, I'm going to do it right now real quick while we're talking. And then I've got all your names in the random draw. So I'm going to spin that wheel and see who wins. And then today's game is, because I had such a good year, I am going to blank. And Donna Gilbert is our $20 Amazon gift card winner today. Congratulations, Donna. I will email that to you later today. So today's question is, because I had such a good year, I am going to blank. I'm going to buy a Fitbit. I'm going to buy actually the new Fitbit Sense because I'm like in these Fitbit competitions. All right. So anyway, as I digress. So that's the fun part for today. The next 3 times I talk, so today, Tuesday and Thursday, I want to talk about government loans because I've been hearing a lot of scuttle about FHA loans, VA loans. So I want to take my few minutes and talk about them. Today I want to talk about FHA loans. There's a lot of misconceptions about them. For those of us who've been in the business for a long time, we might remember these as being hard, they take longer. I've heard people call them like poor people loan or only a loan that people with bad credit can get. So let me just take a second and debunk those myths right now. FHA is a fantastic loan because it only allows 3.5%. It is forgiving for people who have damaged credit. So if you've been sick or lost your job or went through a bankruptcy or a foreclosure some time ago and you've recovered, FHA allows you to buy a house. It does not mean that you are allowed to have a whole slew of collections and not pay your bills. Those people do not qualify for any loan. But for someone who fell on hard times, FHA is forgiving. The other problem I hear is people talk about it, well, the house isn't going to pass FHA. The only thing FHA requires is that the house be safe. So if there's lead paint peeling in the house, children could eat that and be sick. That is why they require it to be, addressed. And it's not a deal breaker. I had a house once encased in lead paint, and we still were able to get it done following the proper, following the proper ways. If there's peeling paint on the outside of the house, yeah, that's going to be a problem. It has to be scraped or siding has to be up. But then don't forget, we have renovation loans. So if there's a big hole in the roof with a big giant tarp on top of it, we can do that loan. So I want to just, so that's my first thing. Let's not, if you're a listing agent, don't be so turned off by an FHA loan. And if you're a selling agent, don't be afraid to present an offer with an FHA loan. It's just the type of loan it is. It does not mean anything about the buyer. That's my mortgage minute. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, good. Thank you, Tammy. That's great. So FHA is not a bad word. So Tammy, Donna was, oh, I see. What did Donna win? She couldn't hear you. So I just wanted you to confirm it.
Sorry. She won a $20 gift card to Amazon that I will email her today.
Woo! Thank you.
You're welcome. So don't forget to do this contest is fill in the chat because I'll be taking all your names while we're going through this today. Fill in the chat because I had such a good year. I am going to blank. I'm buying myself a present. I'm going on a fancy vacation. And no, saving and paying off bills does not count. It has to be, think bold, like when we do our bold. What is something bold you're going to do for yourself because you had such an amazing year? Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tammy. You're great. Thank you. Everybody's starting to fill in the chat box. Carlos, I'm going to hold you to that, man. I'm going to find that house for you. for sure. Carlos, can't hear you.
Well, welcome back. Hello.
Good. So we got special guests with us today. We have the Auslander Kassendorf Group, like I mentioned in my email, to talk about their listing presentation and getting the listing every time. So this is kind of a prelude, if you will, to what we're going to do after the sales rally. So look for more on this. We're going to have a listing workshop. It's going to be an amazing, perhaps hour and a half to 2 hour session, really focusing on getting that listing every time, because everyone, right? Everyone, I want to see you raise your hand. I can only really see myself right now, but raise your hand. Inventory is low. You've got buyers and there's nothing out there for them right now, correct? I know Jeannie was just telling me that Josh is working with 20 some odd A buyers and he's slowing down because he's got nothing to show them. Listings are the name of the game right now. So Jeannie and Todd, we're going to have you guys tell us about your very unique process. I'm going to call it a 3-step process, but it's really not really truly 3-step. Explain how you get into your listing presentation opportunity and how you guys magically make that happen.
Okay, Todd? Where's Todd?
I don't know. Is he here? Todd, unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So we have been, the pandemic obviously made us shift the way that we go on our listing presentations, the way we farm, really has changed our business completely. We had to do a whole 180 right from the start. And we kind of seamlessly went into it when we realized what we needed to do. But basically, we find our sellers, however, whether they reach out to us, whether we're getting them through an expireds, whether it's a Zillow lead, however we're getting it, we initially make that phone call and we really start talking to them. So we do a kind of a consult before we even meet with them. So we want to try and get as much information as we can. And in that conversation that we have, it's really finding out their motivation. That's the most important part. If they're really a motivated seller, we know we're going to be able to sell their home. We're going to be able to sell it quickly, and we're going to be able to sell it for the most amount of money the market will bear. So that's really finding that motivation is key. We also want to find out how much do they owe on the property. That's important too. And I know a lot of agents are kind of scared to ask those type of questions. They feel like getting too personal. But if we're going to be working as a team and helping get their property sold, the more information we have, the better then we're able to consult with them and guide them through the process. So we need to find out how much do they owe? Are they underwater? Do they have a lot of equity in the house? So we start putting all that information together. And then we really kind of talk about the process of how we're going to be doing this. Normally before the pandemic, Jeannie and I would go out, we'd go look at the house, we'd walk through the house with the seller, they would point out things about the house, and then we'd sit there and talk for a little bit, and then Jeannie and I would come back to the office, we'd go through our comps, etc., and set up another call. This time, to limit the amount of people going into their house, what we've been doing is setting up that appointment where Jeannie goes over to the house. I'm sitting at my home office. Jeannie goes in, introduces herself, puts me on FaceTime, and then proceeds to do a tour with me there. So she goes through the house with the seller, talks about the same thing as if I'm there. I'm able to see everything that she's able to see. Sometimes I'll say, can you get in closer to that area so I can see it better? And then I'm able to comment as well, just as if I'm there. Once we go through the house, then Jeannie kind of takes over and has a little bit more of a conversation with them.
So I'm gonna step in here. So the most important thing, of course, is what's their motivation. The other important questions, and I got this all from MegaCamp, was what are your biggest concerns about selling your house today? That's a gigantic question, and we follow that up with, tell me about your experience when you purchased your home. So we know their motivation, we know what they're nervous or concerned about, and then we know what their past experience is. Once you have those 3 items, it's really easy then to tailor the presentation. Once we go through the home, I click Todd off. I said, okay, Todd, have you seen anything? Do you have any questions? I click him off. And then really it's my time to build that relationship and build a connection with the seller. Most of the time, it's usually, just one of the parties. If it's on the weekend, I get both husband and wife or whoever the seller is. The most important thing is the sellers have to trust us. So people do business with people who they like. So it's very important for me. And again, I've really noticed in the past, we weren't really spending a lot of time. And now when I'm there, I'm there by myself, and I'm able to really capture that seller. And it's really important that I'm able to read the seller, what profile are their disc profile. So again, when we go back and do a Zoom call, we're able to really target that. Technology clearly plays a major role, but what we always say is we provide an amazing experience powered by technology. I was just listening to Lloyd Blankfein, who's the former CEO of Goldman Sachs. He talked about rapid change in the technology revolution, and we're certainly in a technology revolution. So we also talk about the market, we talk about the economy, we talk about the unemployment numbers. So we talk about the K-shaped recovery. Todd and I are not economists. We don't play economists on TV. It's so important though, because we need to talk about the market of the moment with our sellers. So we do a lot of that beforehand, whether it's Todd or myself on the phone on the initial phone call, and then I go in when I'm physically there. All right, so Todd, do you want to take one other thing? I don't leave the appointment until I then set up the Zoom call. So I still have Todd on the phone. I said, okay, let's do a Zoom call, 1 o'clock on Thursday. Okay, great. It's in the calendar. Click. Okay, Todd,
the other thing too is that, sellers always ask us, well, should I sell now? Should I wait until the spring? What do you think the market's going to be like in the spring? And, we talked to them, as Jeannie said, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict, what next spring is going to look like. All we can really talk about is the market of the moment. And that's what we really hone in on. We talk about where the interest rates are, that the money is almost free. The interest rates are so low. We talk about the amount of buyers that are looking for homes right now. The fact that my phone rings 10 times a day with Zillow calls from buyers that are living in the city that are trying to move out. So we talk about all those things so that they understand that this is a market right now where the inventory is low. There's a tremendous amount of buyers out there. And if they position their home correctly, they're going to be able to get their home sold. We also talk about how, and really this is really one of the most important things, how this is a team effort. It's not just me and Jeannie and the sellers. It's me and Jeannie and the sellers together. If we're all working together and communicating on a daily basis, then they always have the information they need to make the best financial decisions for their family. And that's what we kind of hone in on, is that this is a team effort. We all have to work together towards the common goal of getting their property sold.
So I know it's 9:17, so I'm just going to really hurry up. So the last part of the process is we have a Zoom call. So we've already talked about their motivation, their concerns. We typically we said, okay, we're going to get right into it. And then we really we start with what's show, because that's the market of the moment. What are buyers putting pen to paper? We look at deposit. We look at close, but really show and deposit are our most important data points right now. And then we look at active, but we do the micro look with only that neighborhood. Then once we feel we've bracketed that price point, if it's, let's say we're looking in North Stamford, we'll only give the data on North Stamford. We pull it out then and say, okay, between 600 and 700, this is what's active in all of Stamford. We look at their competition and we say, okay, where are we going to place them? We always have written down our range. So then we always ask, well, where do you think, after we've gone through this, where do you think you should be? And most of the time they're in our range. And then I go like this, I show my little piece of paper. I say, yeah, that's right, 6 to 650. So that's our process in literally, 6 minutes, how we go about it.
I love it. I really love it. I mean, it's really very succinct and very thoughtfully spelled out. And obviously it's working. To brag on you guys a little bit, I believe you're at your 134th transaction and teetering between sold and pending 73 million, guys.
Yes, that's correct.
73.
That's
Just under
amazing.
73.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will just give a quick shout out to Rick Scott for saying, Jeannie, you got to go to Mega Agent Camp. What I use today on my listing presentations, I have my 9 pages of notes that I've highlighted. I can't tell you if I speak about this K-shaped recovery, that's what we are not in a V and we are not in a W. We are in a K, and people are talking about it. And we talk a lot about that and why it's important to list now versus Q1 or Q2 of next year.
Yeah, that guy, Gary Keller, he kind of knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you took away some really great things. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was well worth it.
Really, thank you guys for sharing. And yes, we ran through this, but look forward, guys, to this listing workshop that we're going to do, where others like Jeannie and Todd are going to share their listing presentation. We'll actually see Jeannie and Todd on their Zoom presentation and what they do. It'll be really helpful to everybody. So again, thank you guys very much.
You're welcome.
Cool. I guess that's it, guys. It's 9:20. Carlos, we're done. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
See ya.
How do you leave it?